That's my girl. Yeah. Another. Hi. Welcome to Sunshine Spirit, Mindfulness and Meditation. My partner Nagi, who just cannot handle it when I start talking to somebody who's not there. She is typically my best mindfulness and meditation partner, but today, and maybe forever, who knows, she sits a little bit on the outside because she just is so confused. If I feed her treats the entire time, she'll sit right up here with us, but I don't want her to have treats the entire time, so we will take what we can get. Let's talk about first of all, what mindfulness is. Paying attention on purpose, with intention generally, without judgment. That's really kind of the essence of it. If I've left something out, I'll be sure and look it up and let you know. But I think I've got it because I've been studying it for a long time. Mindfulness is about being in the present moment, paying attention. So when I sit in my meditation garden, I love to have my fountain running because I love to hear the sound of the water, even if I'm not looking at it. But if I'm looking at it, I get the added bonus with the lights. It's just incredibly pleasing to my eye. I like to sit outside because I like the way the air feels. I like the sounds. I don't know if you can hear it with the microphone and the fountain, but back here behind me, there are birds. And even though it's getting on to twilight, there's a little bit of squirrel chatter going on. In the mornings here, the bird sound is absolutely incredible. In fact, it's so loud that if I just had the microphone where you could hear just the birds, it is practically deafening. I get cardinals and hawks and what they call flickers, and of course the sparrows and the robins, and if it's a bird in southeastern South Dakota, it sometimes is going to be in my backyard. Once in a while, I even get a hummingbird. I get monarch butterflies. It's beautiful out here. And for me, that makes it the perfect place to do mindfulness exercises and to meditate. So when you think mindfulness, think all of your senses, including the sense of where you are in time and space. So if I close my eyes and assess my body, I know right at this minute that I have my spine straight. I typically sit back and kind of relax for these, but knowing where my body is in time and space is the important part. I also have a sense, and these are actual senses more than we learned about those 5 senses in school, but I also have a sense of what's going on inside my body, whether or not I'm hungry, whether or not I am truly relaxed. And at this moment, I actually am. Sometimes I can be a really anxious person, but typically in my meditation garden, I'm not. And Nagi is a very anxious puppy. It's unfortunate. And she enjoys the mindfulness and meditation as much as I do if I'm talking directly to her or to another person that's actually here. She just doesn't care much. You can't see her head right now, I know, but her ears are back. She's listening to me, every bit of it, but she doesn't want to look because she doesn't understand, and it makes her nervous. So we will work on Nagi as our meditation partner and see what we can do about getting her more relaxed in front of the camera that she doesn't understand. Hopefully with time. Isn't that right? And she's looking at me now. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a mindfulness exercise. One of my favorite get you into the now exercises is about sound. But the first thing that people generally do when they're learning mindfulness is just breathe. A lot of times they close their eyes. I'm not going to be able to keep my eyes closed while I'm talking. But breathing in and breathing out, we do it naturally. And all we're going to do is pay attention to our breathing. And I'm going to exaggerate that just a little bit to help get the idea of it. I'm going to breathe in. Typically, I'm going to breathe in through my nose. Typically, I would breathe out through my nose, but for this exercise, I'm going to breathe out through my mouth just to make it more obvious. And my focus and concentration is just on my breath and everything that goes with it. So I'm going to feel the air just slightly cool as it hits the outside of my nostrils, and I'm breathing in. Right this minute in the meditation garden, there are no flowers or scents like that, but it is very clean air. There's no real hint of, certainly not pollution. I'm not catching anything that is negative in any way. It's just a clean breath. So there is a sense of touch or sensation in the coolness. There is that smell that is not really identifiable but clean and fresh. And there is the sensation of the breath inside the nose, and then the knowledge of what that breath does when it hits the body. In this demonstration, I think you can probably see my chest rise and fall, but typically, if you want a true, clean, deep breath, you're going to want your stomach to rise and fall. And if you've ever been a singer, you know how that is to get breath all the way down to the diaphragm. Now, I'm exaggerating my breath. You don't have to do that in a mindfulness exercise where you focus on your breathing. Deep breaths are more relaxing. And so if you're really focused on trying to relax, having those deep breaths in and deep breaths out will help. But again, it's not necessary in a mindfulness exercise. What you really want is to just notice your breathing. Notice what it feels like coming in. Notice what it feels like going out. Feeling the refreshment of your breath, the life essence of your breath, the kinds of things that you don't necessarily notice day in and day out. Breathing is just second nature. We don't think about it. But in a mindfulness exercise where we're focused on our breathing, that's all we want to focus on, that's almost impossible. If you get really good at it, more power to you and more benefit. But I know that it's not necessarily that easy to just focus on the breathing. I'm distracted by Nagi right now because she's not being herself. Normally, if I'm doing this, I'm not distracted by her. Although sometimes I add in the sensation of petting her into my mindfulness exercise. My knowledge of my surroundings includes having her in it. But if I were just to focus on my breathing, I would try to acknowledge all of those things as a part of this moment. But my focus would be simply on my in-breath and my out-breath. When I get distracted in those moments during the exercise, I get distracted. It is not a fault or a problem. When I realize I'm distracted, I bring my attention back. I don't force the breath in or the breath out when I'm actually practicing the moment. I'm going to sit real quietly here for a minute, and I'm going to practice the moment with you. I'm just going to feel my breath come in, and I'm going to feel it go out. I'm going to notice that I'm breathing. And that's it. So let's just do that for a minute. In your own practice, that may be all you do, especially the first few times you're practicing these moments. It takes quite a bit of focus and attention, which is part of what we're aiming for. It's also super easy to get distracted. In the professional circles, sorry, I'm sure that microphone just made a horrible noise. But in the professional circles, they'll tell you things like you need to practice 45 minutes a day in order to get the best benefit. Well, the truth is, and the research supports this, that even 5 minutes of mindfulness exercise is incredibly beneficial to you. It's good for your things like physical health, for blood pressure. It's good for focus and attention. It's good for your breathing. On an emotional and a spiritual, if you will, level, it's also good for you. I'm not a Buddhist. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and I love the history and a lot of the meditation exercises that are done by people who follow that faith. But for me, it's not about religion per se. There is a spiritual quality, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear it. Talk about distractions. I have some neighbors with power cars, and I find it difficult sometimes not to be distracted when tires are squealing or motors are racing. At times, I don't notice it at all. And those are times when I'm deep into the mindfulness and the meditation. There's a part of me that knows those things are happening, but they don't distract me. I mean, I'm not in that particular place right this minute. So I've completely lost my train of thought, which is what distraction does. And I'm not sure what I was getting ready to say about mindfulness and this moment. That's what happens. Sometimes it is easy and sometimes it's a little more complicated because of your environment. But the intention is important, and the fact that you're doing it. I'm trying not to be judgmental about the fact that I have neighbors with power cars. And typically it doesn't bother me. So that phrase, it is what it is, that's kind of a mindfulness in its essence. I think I was going to say that you will spend whatever time you spend, and 5 minutes is 5 minutes to the good. It doesn't matter if it's 45 minutes a day. If you can do that, wow, you will reap a whole lot more benefits a whole lot more quickly. I typically don't have time, or don't feel like I have time, or don't make the time to do 45 minutes a day. I do some every single day now, but when I started out, I didn't. You will make this comfortable for you or not. You will make it enjoyable for you or not. But if you want some help and want to continue to learn, come back. I enjoy teaching mindfulness. I enjoy doing mindfulness. And I've tried pretty hard to do mindfulness with you in this moment. Another distraction just occurred, and I'll have to keep this in mind for the timing. I live a block from the DWU campus, the Dakota Wesleyan University. And I think it's at the university. There are sometimes you can hear the band. And right now, somebody is doing the deep bass drumming. It's a little ways away, but I can definitely hear it. And it's often a signal that the rest of the band is going to play. You might not be able to hear it, but I will. And I think we've covered about enough chat. Mindfulness is often a very quiet and solitary occupation. It doesn't have to be. I like to share my time with Nagi, and I will be having guests, and we'll share mindfulness time together. If I don't give you anything else today, let me just say, you do it your way. My kind of motto at Sunshine Spirit Counseling is shine on your way. The Sunshine Spirit is a light, and that shines. But your light needs to shine your own way. If you enjoyed the lesson and the time, I hope you continue. Hit the like button and the subscribe. And I'll see you again the next time. And thank you for joining me at Sunshine Spirit, Mindfulness, and Meditation. Until next time.